this is Chris. How you doing? Keeping it real, facts over fear. Had an idea this morning. I'd run up the flagpole. It seems to me the main issue of this pandemic is that ultimately there are not enough hospital beds to take care of all the people who could possibly get sick, and so that's why we are experiencing all these lockdowns in all these states. Is because we're worried that people won't get. How many trucks does that dude have? It's amazing. I'm doing some work out here in Virginia, and this one guy has like 2 trucks in the driveway, and he just drove behind a different one, and it's hot, believe me. But anyway, lack of beds, and that's a whole separate video why we don't have enough beds. It all comes down to money, of course, and unpreparedness, and so instead of just point fingers, which is so easy to do, I thought it wouldn't be difficult to overcome this crisis if all it was required was some beds, because it appears to me that you can take just about any space and throw a bed in it. I mean, they made a hospital out of a tent in New York City, so obviously that's not really truly the issue. I think truly the issue is equipment. I have no idea what to do about equipment, but I was thinking about nurses in particular, because it seems to me you don't really need that many doctors if you have enough nurses. My gosh, this is a busy place today. Everybody's coming in for the weekend, even though it's only Wednesday. That's just how this place is. But I digress. So, you don't need doctors unless, of course, you need to do surgery. But really, a doctor, at least in my opinion, the doctor just needs to be there to make critical medical decisions. And it seems to me that nurses can handle, and indeed do handle, most of the more mundane, routine, everyday work that a hospital performs. And so, since rooms are no problem and doctors ultimately are not that big of a problem, and equipment I don't know, it seems to me what we should do is have some kind of nursing National Guard, where nurses, it would be like the National Guard. You go do your soldier thing one weekend a month, and then you have a week of training every summer. You could do something similar like that with nurses. You could have them work like a couple 12-hour shifts a month, and then maybe a full week, whenever. It wouldn't have to be during the summer necessarily. But anyway, that way they could stay, they could stay current. We wouldn't have to pay, the hospitals wouldn't have to pay for a huge staff, but yet we could have a pool of people who were, up on procedure, were keeping their licenses active. I'm sure there's some kind of qualification to keep your nursing license active. You have to work somewhere, somehow. So many hours, but I don't know what the requirements for nursing are. But it just seems to me that that's what we really need. We need a pool of people that are qualified to do the nursing duties, but aren't. They just aren't full-time nurses. Maybe they're retired, or maybe they've decided to stay home with the kids. Maybe they've got another career that they've moved on to. Whatever the reason, but that way, you'd have this pool of people you could call on during times like this, who could really step up to the plate and really make a difference without draining the healthcare system unnecessarily when things were more or less normal. So I don't know if anything like that is going on anywhere or not, but it just seems to me like a rational response to this, because it's going to happen again. And so I think we need to figure out a way to make sure that because this pandemic is not that serious, not nearly as serious as the Spanish flu was. If we had an event like that, there would be people out in the parking lot in their cars dying at the hospital. I mean, that's how bad it is. Well, they wouldn't even make it to the hospital. That's how there wouldn't be any medical procedures for anybody, because the hospitals would be totally clogged with cases. And we look at the pictures on TV now and think, oh, this is awful. No, this is not awful. This is a manageable thing, except in big urban areas, but that's a whole nother video as well. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out, a nursing National Guard. Seems to make sense to me. What do you think? If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below. Like and subscribe. We appreciate when you do. And we'll see you on the next fact-filled video. Hey, this is Chris. How you doing? Keeping it real, facts over fear. Had an idea this morning. I'd run a